Welcome back to my channel. I'm Anshul from Quantshala. So today we had a quiz on linear and quadratic equations on our Facebook group. Great participation there. Today we changed our format a little bit. As opposed to the 5 questions that we do in 15 minutes, today we had 8 questions to be done in 20 minutes. More of a CAT-like timeline because CAT is getting nearer. So we are doing more CAT-like tests, and there will be more mock tests in the coming future also. So stay tuned for that. So linear and quadratic equations, mainly quadratic equations, is a chapter that with enough practice it's easy to ace, and it's easy to cover most questions that can come in CAT. So make sure to invest enough time in practicing this. Let's get started. So as I just told you, do join the Facebook group where we have all of these mentoring sessions, all of these mock tests, quizzes, so that next time you can attend these questions live, attend these quizzes live. Okay. And in this quiz solutions also, make sure that you attempt the questions before watching the solution. So every time you see a question in this video, pause the video right there, attempt the question for 5 or 10 minutes, or if 15-20 minutes you can do that, that's awesome. And then compare the solution with my solution that we have in the video, and then see if you can pick up any good points from the video. Any it could be a shortcut, it could be a concept, it could be a catch that you missed, and whatever answers you get, do post them in the comment section below. Or if you tried a different method, do post that in the comment section below so that I get to know that I can give you some tips on that. So let's get started. With the first question. Just to give you a context, we were supposed to do 8 questions in 20 minutes. So we'll solve all the 8 questions here, but we will take longer than 20 minutes because for each question I will explain it by multiple methods or tell you some tips and tricks along with that. So for the first question, what is the minimum possible value of the sum of squares of the reciprocals of the roots of this equation? Okay, so slightly confusing language. So this is a quadratic equation, so we know that there will be 2 roots. Let's say the 2 roots are alpha and beta. So this says sum of squares of the reciprocals of the roots. So first look at reciprocals of the roots, which is 1 by alpha and 1 by beta. Then it is asking us to square these and then finally take sum of these. Okay, so we are asked to find the minimum value of this. Okay, so this looks like an easy question. So for this we'll simply take the LCM and say this becomes alpha square plus beta square divided by alpha square beta square. Alpha square beta square we know is sum of the square of the product of roots, which we know is 1 by a plus 5 here, or minus 1 by a plus 5 here. For this we don't have an exact formula, right? So this we can transform to the numerator. We can write it as alpha plus beta whole square minus 2 alpha beta. Okay, this becomes this way. So we have alpha plus beta, which is minus b by a. Alpha beta is always c by a. So we know how to solve this question. Okay, now instead of directly plugging in the values and then playing around with a lot of denominators, because see alpha plus beta, what will that be? That will be a plus 3 divided by a plus 5, and we'll square that. Then for alpha beta, that will be minus 1 by a plus 5, and here in the denominator we'll have minus 1 by a plus 5 whole squared. Then we'll have to take a lot of LCMs in the denominators or do some manipulation. Better to do that before we plug in the values. Okay, so alpha plus beta whole square, what is that? So it is generally minus b by a. Minus b by a squared will be b square by a square. Okay, don't confuse this a with this a. I'll write this as b1 a1. Okay, b1 square by a1 square minus you will have 2c1 by a1, and then finally here you will have c1 square by a1 square. Okay. So multiplying all of these by multiplying the numerator and denominator by a1 square, what do you get? You get b1 square minus 2a1 c1 divided by c1 square. Okay. Now this is easy to solve. So b1 square we know. Let's copy this and go to the next slide. Okay. So we're supposed to calculate this finally and the minimum value of this. So b1 square, what is that? A plus 3 or minus of a plus 3 and then squaring it, so the minus sign doesn't matter. A plus 3 whole square minus 2ac. Okay, so minus 2, it will become plus because c is negative, and then we'll have 2 twice of a plus 3, a plus 5 into 3 divided by c1 square, which is nothing but 1. Okay, minus 1 squared. So what do we get here? We get a square plus this will become 6a here, and then we'll have another 6a from here. Okay, 12a. Oh, did something go wrong here? Okay, so this talks about minus 2a1 c1. Okay, so 2a1 is fine, c1 is minus 1, right? So this will be 1 here, not 3. I don't know where I took this 3 from. Okay, so a square plus 6a will come from here, 6a plus 2a will come from here, so 8a. Okay. Try to do some of these things in your solutions also, so that you don't write each step. Try to do some of those mentally. Plus you'll have 9 from here and then 10 from here. So you get 8a square plus 8a plus 19. Okay, and now we're supposed to find the minimum value of this. Minimum value is easy. Where does the minimum value come? At minus b by 2a, or I'll write this minus b1 by 2a1, which is, in this case, minus 8 divided by 2 is equal to minus 4. So at a is equal to minus 4 is when we will get the minimum value. If you don't want to remember this thing, you can also calculate by simple calculus if you know that. So you'll get 2a plus 8 is equal to 0. Just differentiate this thing and equate it to 0, you get a is equal to minus 4 again. If you don't know calculus, if you don't know differentiation, that is perfectly fine. Differentiation is not at all required for CAT, and you can directly use this formula. Okay. Or you can use other methods to derive this formula. But it's recommended to remember this formula then. So a is equal to minus 4, we know that will give us the minimum value. So putting a is equal to minus 4 here, what do we get? Minus 4 squared is 16. Minus 8 into 4 is 32 plus 19. What do we get from here? 16 minus 32 minus 16, minus 16 plus 19 is 3. So we get the answer is 3. Okay. So here the answer will be 3. So this was one method. Let's also try to solve it by another method. It's not much fast per se, but just to give you a conceptual understanding of a new concept. Okay. So what do we need to calculate? 1 by alpha square plus 1 by beta square. We can say this. Or we could say that if there was an equation, so we are assuming that this equation has roots alpha and beta. So if there is an equation, let's say hypothetically, which has roots 1 by alpha and 1 by beta. Okay. So that will be that equation, let's say equation 2, okay, which has roots 1 by alpha and 1 by beta. So for that we would need to calculate, so let's call 1 by alpha as alpha dash and 1 by beta is beta dash. So for that we would need to calculate alpha dash square plus beta dash square, minimum values of these, right? Because 1 by alpha is alpha dash and 1 by beta is beta dash. So simply you would remove the reciprocals term from this question with respect to equation 2, right? So again, if there was an equation which had roots 1 by alpha and 1 by beta, okay, then you would need to calculate the minimum value of sum of squares of roots of this equation. Okay, I missed some here, so this talks about sum of squares, okay, as we did in the last slide. So it talks about sum of squares of the roots of this equation. Okay, so what will this hypothetical equation 2 will be? Okay, now that is simple. Simply, if you know that this equation has roots alpha and beta, and you want to find out an equation which has roots reciprocal of that, so simply replace x by 1 by x. Okay, try to think of it intuitively why this happens. So you will replace x by 1 by x, you get this minus a plus 3 1 by x minus 1 is equal to 0. This is the new equation 2 that we have. What did you do? From the original equation, we replaced each occurrence of x by 1 by x. Okay. So simply see, right, if fx is equal to 0, where fx, assume this left hand side to be fx. Okay. This has some roots alpha and beta. That means f alpha is 0, f beta is 0. Right. So now, when you want f1 by alpha to be 0 and f1 by beta to be 0, you will simply change this x to 1 by x, which means now f1 by x will be your function, and now this will have roots x as 1 by alpha. Okay. Now when you put 1 by alpha here, what does it become? This is f dash. Okay. So f1 by x, what will it become? In place of x, you will put 1 by alpha. So ultimately it becomes f alpha, okay, which we already know to be 0. This was a slightly complicated explanation that I gave. Okay. So what will this equation be? Multiply this by x square. So what does it become? It becomes minus x square, because x square is here now, minus a plus 3 into x plus a plus 5 is equal to 0. Okay. So this is our new equation. Let's write this on the next slide, and we'll multiply this by minus 1. Okay, so that x square becomes positive, just so it looks good. So this becomes, so the new equation that we got is x square plus a plus 3x minus a plus 5 is equal to 0. Okay, and if this has roots alpha dash and beta dash, then what do we need to calculate? Now remove the reciprocals thing from here. We simply need to calculate the minimum value of this alpha dash square plus beta dash square. Alpha dash square plus beta dash square, what is that? That is simply sum of squares minus product. Okay. Oh, sorry, sum of roots ka square minus the product. So what will that be? A plus 3 square minus, and because this is minus, we'll do plus twice of a plus 5. And again, if you see, we get the same equation exactly. A square plus 8a plus 19. Okay. Again, we'll get the answer as 3. So this was just another way of explaining how to solve this question. Not a lot faster, just a way to explain you this new concept. Okay, so that you can use this on other questions where it can be used to speed up your approach. Okay. And small error here which we corrected on the first slide. So what is the minimum possible value of the sum of squares of the reciprocals of the roots of this equation? Okay. So coming to next questions, this is a data sufficiency question. So how many questions did Anuj attempt? We have no context. The test consisted of less than 26 questions. Okay. Anuj scored 21 marks in the test, in which every correct answer fetched her 1 mark, and for every incorrect answer 1/4 mark was deducted from the total. Okay. So the marking scheme for was plus 1 minus 1 by 4. Okay. So we know that Anuj scored 21 marks. That means at least 21 questions were attempted. Okay. And the test consisted of less than 26 questions. Okay. So either one of the cases could be that she attempted 21 questions, she got 21 questions correct and 0 incorrect, which would lead to a score of 21 minus 0 is equal to 21. Another case could be attempted 22 questions, got 1 wrong, but in this case the score would become fractional, right? 22 minus 1 by 4, so that will be wrong. This cannot be our case. So for the score to be integer, which is 21 here, we need at least 4 wrong answers, right? Which would be in a case like this. 25 and then 4 wrong answers were there. Okay. So here the score would be 25 questions totally attempted, right? So which means 21 correct questions. Okay, which means, so writing total number of attempts and incorrect. So if 25 were attempted and 4 were incorrect, 21 correct, which means 21 marks minus 4 multiplied by 1 by 4. Okay. So this gives you a total of 20 marks. Okay. So in this case also it is going wrong because we got 21 marks, right? So the only case is that 21 questions were attempted and 0 were wrong. So okay, we need the first statement definitely, because this tells us that test consists of less than 26 questions. If there were, let's say, more than 26 questions, what would the case be? There could be a case such that 26 questions were attempted, out of which 4 were wrong. So you would have got a score of 22 minus 1 is equal to 21. Okay. So simply x minus y by 4. This is the score is equal to 21. And the constraint is that x plus y is less than equal to 25. Okay. Because correct questions plus incorrect questions have to be less than equal to 25. There can be some unattempted questions as well. Okay, so the only case which satisfies us is 21 comma 0. Okay, there is no other case. 26 comma 4 would have satisfied us this equation. So 26 minus 4 by 4. Oh, I'm sorry. 22 minus 4 by 4 would have been 21, but this does not satisfy the second inequality. So which means that we have one correct answer and we need both these statements for this to be true. Okay, so the answer will be how many questions did I not attempt? Answer will be 21. Okay, and we need both these statements, which means that the answer will be C. Question can be answered using both statements together, but not using any statement alone. Okay. Moving on to question number 3. This is an easy question. So how many pair of integers satisfy this equation? X and y are integers. Okay, that means mod x is also an integer, and mod x minus 3 is also an integer. Okay, so first solve for these brackets. These are, the product is equal to 12, so it can be either 1 multiplied by 12 or 2 multiplied by 6, 3 multiplied by 4, 4 multiplied by 3, 6 multiplied by 2, and then finally 12 multiplied by 1. These are the only cases that we can have for these brackets. Okay, for two terms multiplied to become 12. Okay, now notice that the second term is mod y plus 4. Okay, y is an integer, so mod y at least has a value of 0. Okay, mod y can never be negative, so this entire thing will have a minimum value of 4. Okay, so this means all of these three cases are not possible. Okay, so the only three cases that we have here is 1, 12, 2, 6 and 3, 4. Okay, so now let's get into details of x and y. If mod x minus 3, let's write this case here. Mod x minus 3 is 1, then mod x will be 4. So mod x comma mod y. Let's write these pairs. So mod x will be 4 and here mod y will be 8. Similarly for this, mod x will be 5, mod y will be 2. For this case, mod x will be 6, mod y will be 0. Okay. So now if mod x is 4, mod y is 8, this has 4 cases within itself. What are those 4 cases? 4, 8, 4 minus 8, minus 4, 8 and minus 4 minus 8. If you see, all of these cases will result in this 1 comma 12. If let's say pick any of these cases at random, minus 4 comma 8. Okay, now x is minus 4, that means this mod x is 4, 4 minus 3, 1, 1 multiplied by 12, so you get 12. Okay, so all of these 4 cases are for this 1 comma 12. Similarly for this 2 comma 6 or 5 comma 2, you will have 4 cases. Okay, 5 2, minus 5 2, 5 minus 2 and minus 5 minus 2. Similarly for 6 0, you will have 4 cases: 6 0, minus 6 0, 6 minus 0. Oh, is 6 minus 0 case? No, because 0 is always minus 0 only, right? Minus 0 or 0. So here we only have 2 cases. So 4 plus 4 plus 2. Total number of cases we get is 10. So total 10 pairs of integers of x, y would satisfy this equation. This was an easy question. Moving on to next question. Quadratic equation x square bx plus c square has two roots, 4a and 3a, where a is an integer. Okay, so again we have a is an integer. When we are given that any variable is an integer, the question becomes very easy. Okay, because the number of cases are very limited now. Which of the following is a possible value of a square plus b square plus c square? Okay, so a is coming from here, b and c are coming from the quadratic equation. So we have two roots 4a and 3a. b, what will b be? Minus b by a. So minus b by a will be the product of roots. Minus b by 1 is equal to 7a. Sorry, minus b by a will be the sum of roots. So minus b by 1 is 7a, which means b is minus 7a. Similarly, what is the product of roots? C by a. C by a in this case is c square by 1 is equal to 12a square. So this means c square is 12a square. So now let's write this: a square plus b square plus c square. A square is a square plus b squared will be 49a square plus c squared, already we know directly c squared is 12a square. Okay, so this becomes a total of 62a square, where a is an integer. Okay, So what is the following is a possible value of this? Okay, possible value will be 62 multiplied by a perfect square of an integer. So which of these is a multiple of 62 first of all? So this is definitely not a multiple of 62 because this is odd. This is also not a multiple of 62. Now the question comes to either of these. Okay, so 558, this is a smaller number, so first let's look at this. So 558 divided by 62 will be, so I think this looks around 62 multiplied by 9. Okay, because 60 into 9 is 540. Okay, so this is 62 multiplied 558 is 62 multiplied by 9, and 9 is a perfect square where a is equal to 3. So we definitely know that D is a possible value. Okay, even if you check for C, it will be wrong because 3844, if you don't know, is 62 squared. You can divide 3844 by 62, you will get 62. So in this case, a square will come out to be 62 and a won't be an integer. Okay, and the question says a is an integer, which we got here. Okay, so 558 is 62 into 9. So in this case, a will become 3. Okay, so again, this was the question. Coming to question number 5, what is the product? Are we going too fast? Please let me know in the comment section below if you're going too fast or too slow, so that in the upcoming videos we can make sure that we can adapt according to your speed, because we have rushed through 4 questions. I think that now I'm just contemplating if we did it too fast. Okay, so let me know in the comments if the speed is fine for you, or if it is too fast, or if it is too slow. I'll definitely take your suggestions and then put those into the next videos. Okay, so question number 5, what is the product of all the real roots of this equation? Okay, so this is a quadratic equation, but it also has a modulus sign in it. Okay, modulus we have covered in a lot of quizzes before, a lot of mock tests before. We have done a lot of questions on this. So by now I hope you know how to open this modulus sign. The basic definition of modulus sign is mod of, I'll take y as an example because we already have x. So modulus of y is equal to y if y is greater or equal to 0, and minus y if y is less than 0. Okay, so simply here we have 2 cases. If x square plus 4x is greater or equal to 0, we will have this equation becomes x square plus 4x plus 7 is equal to 0. If x square plus 4x is less than equal to or less than 0, this becomes minus x square minus 4x plus 7 is equal to 0, or you can write this equation as x square plus 4x minus 7 is equal to 0. Okay, so we have these 2 cases. This is the condition and this is the equation. So here I think the discriminant is less than 0 itself, because here discriminant is b square 16 minus 4ac, which will be 28. So discriminant is less than 0. So we are not getting any real roots from this. So this case is ruled out. This is asking for product of all real roots. Okay, so make sure you just don't multiply the 7 here and the minus 7 here and give the answer as minus 49. That's a trap. Okay, so now we will get, if anything, if we get any roots, then we'll get from this equation. Okay, here the discriminant is definitely positive. 16 plus 28, 44, the discriminant is positive. So the product can be minus 7. But wait, we also need to check if this equation satisfies this inequality. Okay, so again, first case is ruled out. So second case is if x square plus 4x is less than 0, or you can say x into x plus 4 is less than 0, then this equation is x square plus 4x minus 7 is equal to 0. Okay, so this is a legit equation. This will give us real roots, but let's say it gives us a root of, let's say, 2. Okay, let's say x is equal to 2. Just taking an example, let's say if x is equal to 2 is a root, then that is a valid root, because, oh, I didn't do this. First let's try to calculate the range of x for this. Okay, x into x plus 4 is less than 0. Simply by this wavy curve method we have 2 roots, minus 4 and 0, and plus minus plus, so which means x belongs to minus 4 say like a 0. Okay, so x has to be between minus 4 and 0 for this thing to be less than 0. Okay, So now let's say if you get a root x is equal to 2, that will not be a valid root because this equation is only valid for this range. Okay. Outside this range, the other equation is valid, which is x square plus 4x plus 7 is equal to 0, which does not have any real roots. Okay. So we will only consider this equation in the interval minus 4 to 0. So first let's see what are the roots for this. Roots for this are minus 4 plus minus under root b square minus 4ac is 44 divided by 2. So this comes out as minus 2 plus minus under root 11. Under root 11 is 3 point something, okay, 3.3. So minus 2 plus 3.3 or minus 2 minus 3.3. So this becomes the two roots are 1.3 and minus 5.3. These are the two roots that we are getting. And both of these are outside this range. 1.3 is this side, minus 5.3 is this side, less than that. So which means that none of these roots 1.3 and minus 5.3 apply to the original equation. Okay, make sure you always consider this thing whenever you have modulus or whenever you are converting one equation into a different format by squaring both sides, taking square root of both sides, removing modulus, multiplying both sides by something. If you are doing some of these things and if you are, let's say, multiplying equation by some variable log x, x square, or you're squaring both the sides, or as we did removing the modulus sign, always make sure to consider the solutions also satisfy the original equation. Okay, so even if you see 1.3, right, so 1.3 here we will get a positive value definitely, and here also we will get a positive value. So this will never be equal to 0. So the answer will be none of the above. So this was a slightly longer method of what we did. That was a slightly conceptual method, and how you would do it while practicing. Okay, but sometimes there are shortcuts to questions which you can solve even without solving it in detail, and you can answer this question within 5 seconds. Okay, so this is asking for the real roots, product of real roots of this equation. Okay, if you consider this value is always positive because modulus always gives a positive answer, and then we are adding 7 to it. Okay, so answer will never be equal to 0. This left hand side, if you calculate, the answer will always be a positive quantity, can never be 0. That means there are no real roots for this equation, and the answer will be none of the above. So if you see, we could answer this question within 4 or 5 seconds at max, but we still did the longer route while practicing. Why? Because in the exam you don't know whether the question will be as straightforward as this, whether you will be able to apply this shortcut to the exam question or not. So always make sure while practicing, if you can apply a shortcut, if you can use options, that is great, but always solve the question using the conceptual method also. Moving on to question number 6. Vijay plays a game wherein he tosses a coin and scores 9 points if head turns up and 5 points if tail turns up. Okay. A total of exactly 182 points is required to win the game. In how many combination of heads and tails can Vijay win? Okay. So let's say he get X heads and Y tails. So if he gets X heads, so we have a score of 9x from there and 5y from the tails, and it has to be equal to 182. Okay. In how many combinations? So they're asking basically they're asking us for the pairs of x comma y. So I can see that if x is 20, there can be no value for y because 9 into 20 is 180. So what else can we do from here? Okay, we have one equation, two variables. So let's try to take remainder from somewhere. Okay, so if we try to take a remainder with, let's say, 9. Okay, or let's take a remainder with 5. So if you take a remainder with 5, what will this become? 4 multiplied by x remainder with 4 plus this will become 0 is equal to remainder of this with 5 is 2. So always remember, in any equation we can take the remainder of with anything on both sides. So now we know that 4 remainder x by 5, sorry, we are taking the remainder with 5 is equal to 2. So 4 times this remainder is 2. And then obviously we have to take the remainder finally also. I'm not writing that formally so that the equation doesn't look complicated. So also if you take the remainder with 5, okay, 4 can also be said to be minus 1, because remainder of 9 with 5 can also be minus 1, or remainder of 4 with 5 can also be minus 1. So this minus can go here. So remainder of x with 5 is minus 2, or you can say remainder of x with 5 is 3. So now we have some breakthrough. So remainder of x with 5 is 3. That means x can be 5 or x can be 3 or 8 or 13. If you see, all of these remainder with 5 are 3. So we know that x can be 3, 8, 13, etc. And the equation that we had was 9x plus 5y equal to 182. 9x plus 5y is equal to 182. So we know that what x can be. So we'll take x on the other side and we'll say y is equal to 182 minus 9x divided by 5. Okay. Now we'll make a quick table. If x is 3, what happens? 182 minus 27. It becomes 155. Is that right? Or 165? 155. Okay. 155 divided by 5 is 31. Then the next value for x is 8. In this 8, either you can calculate again, or you see what gets increased on the negative side. Earlier we had 9 into 3. Now in negative we have 9 into 8. That means 9 into 5 got increased on the negative side. And finally you are dividing by 5. So 9 got increased on the negative side, which means the answer will be 9 lesser. So answer will be 22. This was just a shortcut. Even if you solve by properly, even if you solve this properly, you will get 22. Okay. But try to understand what I did so that you can copy some of these things in your exams and solve the questions faster. Okay. So 9 into 8, 72. 182 minus 72 is 110. 110 by 5 is 22. Next value is 13. And again subtract 9 from here, you get 13. Next value will be, for here, next value will be 18. And here next value will be 4. Okay. Next value cannot be there, because if you have, let's say 23 here you have to do minus 5, which is not possible, because x and y are both positive integers, or can be 0 actually, non-negative integers. So we get 4 cases totally. So the answer is 4. So this was kind of a special equations question. So, but here basically what you need to do is take remainders on both sides, or somehow you have to constrain one of the variable so that you can get the other variable, and then try to make this table. Okay. That is how most of these questions can be solved. Next question. This is the second last question for us. Alpha, beta, gamma are the roots of cubic equations this time. If alpha, beta, gamma are in arithmetic progression, difference between least and greatest roots are. Okay. So if 3 roots are there and we have to take in arithmetic progressions, you would simply take as a plus d, a plus 2d. But we will not take in this way because these are also in arithmetic progression. But generally, to simplify calculation, what we do is we'll take the roots as a minus d, comma, a plus d. Okay. So that when you add all these roots, this becomes 3a. D gets cancelled. Here D won't get cancelled. Okay. So sum of roots here is 15, and sum of these are what we are assuming is the roots. Okay. So this is alpha, this is beta, this is gamma. So we get 3a is equal to 15. Simply we get a is equal to 5. Now we have to calculate d. Because what do we need to calculate? Difference between least and greatest roots. So subtract these. This will be the extreme values. If you subtract this, you will get 2d. We need to find the value of d. Okay. So now there are 2 ways to do that. Either use this or use this. I'll use the product thing because that is faster to calculate. This will have to be alpha beta plus beta gamma plus alpha gamma, which will be longer to calculate. So I'll just do alpha beta gamma. So alpha beta gamma will be a multiplied by a square minus d square here. Okay. And what is the actual value? 105. A is 5, I know that. So 25 minus d square becomes 21. This implies d is equal to plus minus 2. Okay. They're asking us the difference, so we'll just assume it's positive. So because they're not telling the least minus greatest or greatest minus least, so difference means we have to by default answer the positive thing. So answer here will be 4. Because 4 is the answer to this question. Coming to the last question for the quiz. A is any single digit prime number and B is any natural number. Okay, so A can be simply A. The question has made it really easy for us. A can be one of these 4 values, 2, 3, 5, 7. B is any natural number. The number of equations of the form this having both real roots. Okay. simple quadratic equation, only coefficient is in under root. If x was in under root, then that would have been a problem for us because it would not have been a pure quadratic equation. Here the equation is pure quadratic, so having both real roots means discriminant greater or equal to 0. What is the discriminant? B square, which means 16a minus 4ac means 12b. Okay, greater or equal to 0. So we have 4a greater or equal to 3b, or you can say a is greater or equal to 3b by 4. In fact, we already know that a is a prime number, right? So we'll take b in terms of a. So we have b less than or equal to 4a by 3. This is the condition that we have. Now let's say a is 2. Okay. Here so b has to be less than 8 by 3. So b can be 1 or 2. If a is 3, so 12 by 3. So b can be 1 to 4. Okay. B is less than or equal to 4. If a is 5, we have 4 into 5, 20 divided by 3. So b can be anywhere from 1 to 6. If a is 7, 4 multiplied by 7, 28 by 3. So b can be anywhere from 1 to 9. Okay. So here we have 2 cases, 4 cases here, 6 cases here, 9 cases here. In total 9 plus 6, 15, plus 4, 19, plus 2, 21 cases. So the number of equations which can be of this form having both real roots is 21. Okay. So this was it for the quiz solutions video. I hope you liked the video, you learned something new from the video. But again, I want to reiterate something, that if you are not attempting these questions yourself, it is not giving a lot of benefit to you. Okay, I don't want watch hours on my video. What I want is for you to be able to solve these questions yourself when I conduct a quiz next time or conduct a mock test next time. Okay, so I strongly recommend that whenever you see any question, any solution video, this channel, any other channel, your classes, your worksheets, your books, always try the question for 10-15 minutes at least, and then watch the solution. Because even if you are not able to solve that question in the 10 or 15 minutes that you tried it for, you will still have learned a lot in those 10 or 15 minutes, because you will try to tackle that question from multiple angles, from 2 or 3 angles, and then when later you are solving more questions, you will know that okay, this approach takes me to this place, this approach takes me nowhere. So you will have learned a lot in those 10 or 15 minutes. You can also feel free to spend 30 or 40 minutes on some questions, because it will always give you some benefit. Okay, that will always be time invested. So always follow this approach of trying the questions for a long time yourself and then only watching the solution. If you have not completed if you are not able to solve the question, then definitely watch the solution completely and then try to understand each of the point. Or if you think after watching partial solution or taking some hint you can solve it yourself now, go for that. After watching a hint or after watching partial solution, watch the solution again and then try it again. If you were able to complete the solution, if you were able to get the answer after the hint or before the hint, then also watch the solution on a high level this time. Okay, so on a high level means just quickly briefly watch the solution so that you don't waste a lot of time watching the same thing again, but also see that if their solution was different from yours. Okay, because it is possible that you took 2 or 3 minutes to solve the question, while the actual solution in the book or the video took only 5 seconds or 30 seconds or 1 minute. Okay, so you can get some good points from that solution. I think I have given a lot of gyan now, so I'll sign off now. Do join the Facebook group for more upcoming quizzes, upcoming mock tests, mentoring sessions. So in all of our quizzes, what we are doing is top 3 winners get a 30-minute one-on-one mentoring session with me, one-on-one doubt solving session with me, which is really beneficial for everyone. And then we are also having some group mentoring sessions, and there are other opportunities to get one-on-one mentoring sessions. So make sure to participate in these things. These will always help you in your CAT preparation, and this will be time invested, trust me. So do subscribe to the channel for all upcoming content and all upcoming solutions and all upcoming challenger videos. And do like the video, do subscribe to the channel definitely, so that I know that you are there. I know that बहुत सारे students आ रहे हैं, and you know I am also motivated to make more such solution videos for you. And definitely share this with your friends, क्योंकि यार खुद देख लिया, अगर अच्छा लगा, definitely अच्छा नहीं लगा तो ठीक है, बट कमेंट में मेरे को बताओ अच्छा क्यों नहीं लगा। बट अगर अच्छा लगा तो फ्रेंड्स के साथ शेयर करो, ठीक है, शेयरिंग इज केयरिंग, तो उनको भी हेल्प होगी, उनको भी अच्छा लगेगा। एंड देन यू और योर फ्रेंड्स कैन एनी टाइम रीच आउट टू मी। फेसबुक ग्रुप इज इन द फेसबुक ग्रुप लिंक इज इन द डिस्क्रिप्शन, सो उसको ज्वाइन करो। एंड देन वहाँ पे मेरा फेसबुक प्रोफाइल भी मिलेगा एडमिन के नाम से। सो बेसिकली फेसबुक ग्रुप में एडमिन दिखेगा, वहाँ मेरा फेसबुक प्रोफाइल होगा। देन डेफिनेटली फील फ्री टू मैसेज मी एट एनी टाइम, ओके। वन ऑन वन में अच्छे से मैं आंसर करता हूँ सारे मेंटोरिंग के डाउट्स, और अगर नीड होती है तो मैं कॉल भी करता हूँ वन ऑन वन, ओके। क्विज विनर्स को तो डेफिनेटली 30 मिनट पूरा डेडिकेटेड सेशन मिलता ही है। उसके अलावा भी अगर किसी को डाउट्स होते हैं तो मैं वन ऑन वन सारे डाउट्स आंसर करता हूँ, बीट VARC, LRDI और क्वांट, उनके मैं हाई लेवल पे डाउट आंसर कर सकता हूँ कि कैसे प्रिपेयर करना चाहिए, क्या गलत हो रहा है अगर तुम्हारी प्रिपरेशन में कुछ गलत है, या फिर डेफिनेटली अगर क्वांट के कोई भी डाउट्स हैं रिलेटेड टू एनी चैप्टर और एनीथिंग, आई एम ऑलवेज हैप्पी टू आंसर ऑल योर डाउट्स। सो चलो बहुत बोल दिया मैंने, जस्ट लाइक कर दो वीडियो फटाफट से और सब्सक्राइब कर दो, ओके। ऑल द बेस्ट, कीप लर्निंग।